Today we are reviewing what is a community. Last week we listened to a story that defined what a community is. So let's go over some of the things they pointed out. An important thing to remember, a community is a place where people live, work, and play. People who live in a community can live in the same area and have the same government. They can have the same culture or history, or they can be diverse. Diverse communities include people with different cultures, religions, languages, wealth, races, abilities, and much more. Communities can be big. So you can see in our picture, there's probably a lot of people living here. All those windows, although these are probably office buildings where they work, all those windows are offices where people can work. And if you count them up, there's quite a lot. So this is a huge community. There's lots of people here. You can see in the background that we still have more buildings, houses, roads. There's a little sea to the side of it. So lots of people here. This is a big community. Big communities tend to be more diverse because they have more people. These people bring in their cultures, they bring in their traditions, and it allows everyone to celebrate in their own way while still living and working and playing together. Communities can also be small, but they also tend to be less diverse. Here we have a picture of a small community. There's a few houses. It looks like it's pretty cold there. And this is something that goes into making decisions for where people want to live. This is called climate. Climate is a measure of the overall weather in a certain place. So if I looked at an entire year, for the whole year, was it a place that was pretty cold, a place that was pretty hot, or maybe somewhere in between? In this place, this is a picture of a place that's pretty cold. It's right on the ocean, and you see here that we have a lot of snow and a little bit of ice. Climate can affect whether or not people want to live in certain places. So it's likely that this community is small because a lot of people would prefer to live in a warmer climate. It has less diversity because the people that live here are probably celebrate the same holidays, have the same traditions, the same culture, and enjoy a lot of the same things. So what are the characteristics of community? There are 3 different ways we can look at the characteristics of community. The first one is the physical characteristics. What is in a place that was not added by humans? So in the physical characteristics, we're looking at the land, we're looking at the climate, as we were mentioning. Does it have hills? Is it flat? Is there lots of dirt that's good for growing crops? Is it cold? Is it hot? What sort of natural resources do they have? Do they have coal? Do they have water? Streams, rivers, oceans, natural hazards. If you go to Oklahoma, there's a certain time of the year where they have tornadoes more often than any other place in that area. So a lot of people may not want to live in Oklahoma if they don't want to deal with tornadoes. So you have to consider, what is the land like? What is the climate like? What is the physical characteristics of the community? Do I want a place that's hot? Do I want a place that's cold? Do I want a place in between? Do I want to be by the water? Do I want to be in the grass? Do I want flat land? Do I want hills? Do I want good dirt for growing crops? Do I care if there's dirt for growing crops? Depends on how you like to live and what sort of work you do. And then again, play. We also have human characteristics. These are ways that people have changed the land. So you ask yourself, how have people changed land over time? Are there more homes or less homes? Are there more buildings or less buildings? Do they have lots of roads or only a few roads? Are there farms? Are there parks? Are there lots of trains or no trains? Are there bridges? These are all different features that humans add to the environment. Maybe you want these features, maybe you don't. But depending on where to live, work, and play, might depend on what you want in that area. A feature of the environment that has been added by people is a human characteristic. And last, we have cultural characteristics. What makes the people of a place unique? What sort of celebrations do they have? Do they celebrate Christmas, Hanukkah? Maybe they don't celebrate either. Do they celebrate Halloween? Do they celebrate Thanksgiving? If you go to another country, they might not be celebrating Thanksgiving because Thanksgiving is an American tradition. Clothing. What sort of clothing do they wear? Is it the kind of clothing you like and are comfortable wearing? Would you feel like you fit in? Or would that be something that would not be a problem for you? Would you mind wearing different clothing, or would you not mind wearing different clothing? And then we have traditions. What are some traditions that that community follows? Perhaps there are lots of traditions. Perhaps there's only one way of doing traditions. Foods. Do they have the kind of foods you like or not? What sort of customs do they have, and what language do they speak? You want to be able to communicate with people so you can live there comfortably. So cultural characteristics are a common behavior or belief shared by a group of people. Maybe you like a place that has lots of different beliefs. Maybe you prefer a place that believes only one way, your way. Each of these are something that you would consider when you're deciding where to live, work, and play. So here's our assignment today. This is the page I want you working on. Notice it is slide number 6. You have directions to the side, so if we scroll over like this, it tells you what to do. If you were here at school, you would be drawing a picture. If you are on an iPad, that is still an option. For those of you that are not, you're going to find a picture that matches your thinking of what a community would look like for you. So to do that, step number 1, click Insert. That is found here. Step number 2, click Image. Step number 3, click Search the Web. So you see over here we have a little web search that pops up, and it's searching for images. So I'm going to type in community. Just community. And then I'm going to hit Enter. So all these pictures pop up that I can choose from. So you get to scroll through and find a picture that you might like. So for example, let's say I really want to choose this picture. So I'm going to click it and click Insert. Notice it pops up on my picture. So I'm going to put that in the middle, and then over to the side it says add labels and ideas here, and then move them onto the paper. So on these boxes you can click them. So I'm going to say, to me, it looks like those are people that are outside of school. So maybe education is important to me. I am a teacher, so it's important to me that there is schools and education there. Okay? Perhaps it also looks like they might be on some sort of team. And I play sports, so maybe team sports is something I'm interested in. That's how I like to play. So, and again, see my cursor's not changing. There it went. You have to wait until you get that cross. Okay? So there's label number 2. And of course, so I said my work, I said how I like to play, how I like to live. I like lots of people. Okay, so this was a picture I found with a crowd of people. So this is my live, work, play, and I can add one more thing as I need to. So your job here is to make sure to label and your picture with your ideas.